Boom. Greetings, Frank. An honor once again to be with you for the review of PT's book. That's what we're doing together. You look great today, Frank. You seem to be doing just fine.
Likewise. Feeling good. Yeah. Glad to be back.
That's it. Glad to be alive. Honestly, I'm just thankful to be alive, to be here with you today
grateful.
and do this. Like all the rest in the world is like very irrelevant because it's living the moments, moment by moment, and savoring every moment of life that we have because it can be gone the next day. So I have realized that getting older. So that's it. Focus on the moment.
Yeah, tomorrow is never promised.
That's it. That's it. So today, Frank, we're going to start with the elephant in the room. I think that's where we're at with our review of PT's book. And it's a very interesting one because it's an elephant. It's big, and no one seemed to see that huge elephant that they have in their room. Like, we all have an elephant in the room, but I don't know, we're so blind that we don't see it. And that elephant, well, you can tell us what is the elephant, Frank. I'll let you English part. I'll do the French after, as usual. We're not exchanging in French, of course, because Frank cannot follow me in French. I get it. But at least I give the epilogue what it signifies in French. So after a lot of people that speak French speak a bit of English or whatever, so they can also maybe understand my accent better because I have a French accent. I don't know. We'll see. But that's it. The elephant in the room. I'll let you go on with it, Frank.
All right. Here we go. Elephant in the room. There is only one elephant in the room for anyone, anywhere. And that elephant is their future. This life, death, and afterlife, and so forth. Much bigger than the past they can remember, or the fleeting present. The hugest, biggest thing which everyone ignores, like it doesn't exist. If one refuses to acknowledge there is a thing called the future, in fact, show a finger to it when it enters one's consciousness, like most are doing, the future cannot be good. No surprises there when future sticks the finger back to them. The whole bravado vanishes quite quickly.
Oh, yeah. Quite quickly. L'éléphant dans la pièce. L'éléphant dans la pièce, il y a un seul éléphant dans la pièce pour n'importe qui et n'importe quand. Et cet éléphant est leur futur. Cette vie, mort et vie après la mort et ainsi de suite, bien plus grand que le passé dont ils peuvent se souvenir, ou le bref présent, c'est la plus grande chose que tout le monde ignore, comme si elle n'existait pas. Si un être refuse de reconnaître qu'il y a une chose appelée le futur, en fait, le montre du doigt quand il entre sa conscience comme la plupart le font, le futur ne peut pas être bon. Pas de surprise en cela. Quand le futur montre son nez en retour, la bravade entière disparaît assez rapidement. Yeah, everything vanishes very quickly once the consequences show up because we have no really consideration for the future because if not, we would treat our body better than we do. We would feed, we would support our machine a lot better than what we do. So definitely, you cannot tell me that people have consideration for the future, their future health, or they don't. They're not even in the moment. So imagine... me, the way I see it, they're not even in a moment. So forget the consideration about the future. Because if also you're in the moment, you notice what you're eating. You care about it. Like, so if you're not in the moment, you can definitely not have consideration for the future. You don't even know where you are. You don't even, like, that was my state I'm talking about. I'm talking about the me. My experience, I cannot talk about anyone else's experience but mine. And that's what I have experienced is a total lack of presence, total lack of desire to learn about life, about my body, about, like, totally absent. That's why I got fat. Now I'm getting leaner. I got down 60 pounds in the last few months.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, no, that's true. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I lost the belly of that. So, but I'm caring more than before also. Like I
Right.
know that the future is at stake. If I don't take care of me now, I will suffer later. So I don't want to suffer later because later is the now.
Right.
It's all the now. It's
Yes.
later, it's the future, but it's going to become the now. And you're going to suffer in the now. So I don't want to suffer. So I take care of myself. I bike, I exercise, I do what I can. But yeah, consideration for the future definitely must be there in order to rise or to evolve.
Right.
Want to evolve for sure. That comes in the equation. Like anyway,
Yes.
give me your take on this, Frank.
Yeah, those are good points that you made. And this is a cool P-log here, and I like the way that P expresses it. But you're so right. I mean, we have to channel energy into putting effort into actually, you know, um, creating and taking the actions that are going to support our well-being, support the balance of our consciousness, of our mental, emotional states.
Mental
Um,
health.
yeah, because it's so easy to just like spin off the rocker, like, and that's how they really have things set up for us at this point, for us to really just, there's it's really it can be daunting, when you think about like the amount of efforts that are being put to just keep people asleep and really kind of like keep control over how things are going right now. I mean, even if we want to take control of our health, they have so many different implanted things that are just like, oh no, this is what's good for you, this is what's good for you, and then they just like create so many different perspectives that are contradicting each other, that you're like, what do I which one do I choose? I mean, at a certain point, you just have to kind of just start going with something, whatever makes sense to you, give it a shot and see what happens, but at the same time, we don't have our whole life to try every single thing that people are saying is what we have to do out here. And so whenever I found P and when I had come across that thing, I had just had an interest in the Vedic thing, because it was like, okay, this is this ancient uh way of life. This is this thing that's like so old, and there's these ancient texts written about it. And of course, over all the time, a lot of that has gotten corrupted, and there is what it's like the modern yoga and all that kind of stuff, which isn't really tapping onto the points that P is talking about. But at the same time, it does have a foundation of like a proper vegetarian, simple and centered diet. And P really does hit all the points that are most important. And really, when we begin that journey of seeking well-being, and we start to really seek, we want to find out, we want to know, then if we have consistency with that, like, I want to know, I want to find out, then like the real stuff will start coming up, and we'll be able to start taking note of it. And then once we come across that, it's about applying that knowledge, applying that information that we get to ourselves, to our experience. And yeah, I mean, that's how the journey went for me. I mean, I heard P talking about astrology and these different things, and then he was saying, vegetarian diet, it's like super important, especially if you're interested in like learning about astrology or practicing it at all, which I just had an interest in it. I wasn't like, I want to be an astrologer or something like that. But he was like, you'll never really be able to get to the core of it if you're stuck in the kind of the Muggle mentality, meat diet, and just consuming lots of things that aren't really going to help you get any mental clarity. Then of course you're going to stay in confusion. So, but this is coming back to this P-log, the elephant in the room being our future. Really, we do have to consider, like, what are we doing now, and how is that going to affect what's going to come tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, all the way until the end of this particular journey. And then not only to consider that, but considering the actions that we're doing now and how it's going to affect our potential beyond life circumstances. Now, we can't say for sure how we're going to be judged, but at the same time, we can go on the basis of, these pure principles that P's talking about that are very logical, very sensible, connecting with nature, speaking the truth, and really just trying to live a life that's positive, uplifting, and clarifying. So, yeah, I like in the end of the P-log how he says, if you refuse to acknowledge the future, it can't be a good future. And in fact, most people stick the finger to it. So whenever they have the choice of, oh, well, you can do this or you can do that, they often, just get that impulse and they're like, oh, I just want to do this. I just want the instant gratification and I don't care about the consequences later. But when they come, that's when the piece says the whole bravado vanishes quite quickly, because then you're crying around and it's no fun for anybody.
Oh, you're gonna be whining, complaining, and shit that muggles do when things don't turn out their way because their entitlement of getting everything when they want, when instant gratification and shit. So.
Yeah,
C'est sûr, if you, for sure, if you, c'est sûr, en français, for sure, it's I mean, it's almost the same thing in French. C'est sûr, for sure.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, so c'est pour ça que j'ai dit en français, c'est sûr, for sure. So, for sure, we will eventually find out the cost of that ignorance of not putting attention on the future, on your future self. Like, your future self will thank you later if you do stuff for yourself that is part of evolving. Like,
right.
You cannot be disappointed by your own self if you're on the path of evolution. If you're on the path of devolution, you might find yourself depressed. Definitely. Depressed or anxious or all the nonsense emotion that we shouldn't be experiencing here, but because lack of consideration to the future and shit and the present and total absence, we miss a lot of the joy.
And a lot of patience. Patience is required too, because you can't just start doing the thing and expect your everything to turn around. You have to be willing to just accept where you're at and say, okay, I'm going to work. I'm going to start doing the things that are necessary. And then bit by bit, things start turning around, things start changing for the positive. And yeah, it's easier to see also how many people, in our lives are caught in these cycles and these loops of, self-sabotage in many ways, just by the conditioning of our society and culture. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is right now.
Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, good point. Future en français, future in English. Now he goes and define a bit what the future is from his perspective, of course.
Yes.
So I'll let you go on, Frank, with the future.
Yes, we'll continue with future. Future is future as in Phuture. P who tour E. P who turns energy spirals. So basically, P, the axis, is future. If one has no concern for future, one will have no hesitation in ignoring P. How many in this world are really concerned for their future is seen easily in this light.
Yeah. Futur. Le futur est futur. P-H-U-T-U-R-E. Futur avec un PH. P who turns energy spirals. P qui tourne des spirales d'énergie. Donc, essentiellement, P, l'axe est le futur. Si une personne n'est pas concernée par le futur, cette personne n'aura pas d'hésitation à ignorer P. P, which is PT, which is Prashant Trivedi. That's short for Prashant Trivedi, P. We call him P often.
Yes.
Combien dans ce monde sont vraiment concernés par leur futur est clairement visible de ce point de vue. And that is something I can tell for sure. If I would have ignored PT his appearance in my life because how it started. Someone came to say, hey, maybe you should have PT on the Truman Show and that, but I didn't. I could have ignored it. But something was telling me not to ignore it. A
Yeah.
little voice in my head told me not to ignore that email or that person pointing me in that direction. Point, Pete, point.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I went ahead and I explored all his stuff and did many videos with him, many interviews, and for sure I wouldn't be the same person with clarity about life if I wouldn't have uh, met PT. Probably,
Yeah.
uh, I had my own perspective on life for sure, but other people will bring you their own perspective, and PT has a very divine perspective on life.
Hmm.
So that's why I attach to him like that. I do many stuff, and I'll keep doing stuff with him on other topics and stuff because it's his teaching is very valuable to me. There might be others in the world, like I told you, that have that kind of teaching, but I haven't seen many, if you want to call him guru,
Right.
on the internet or in the world teaching you, confronting you about your nonsense.
Right.
Because most would, and that's why he probably doesn't have the audience that Sadhguru has, because Sadhguru will not confront you with your nonsense. He will give you good stuff. I'm not saying the man's not good. He doesn't have, but
Right.
to me, it's the nonsense. We have to be confronted with our nonsense to move out of this realm and
Yes.
change the world. You want to change the world, you got to let go of the nonsense, all the nonsensical shit that we're into. And I'm not going to make the list today. We would be here all winter. But the exercise. The
Right.
exercise is really to let go of everything that is nonsensical, everything that
Mhm.
has not to do with nature, that is like complete out of sync with who we are. We have to let go of this. But
Right.
yeah, and PT is one that can certainly give you a brighter future if you follow his teaching, if you listen to his teaching, follow whatever the word you
Yeah.
want to use. Yeah, he has some very valuable stuff to teach and can make you a bright future if you don't ignore him.
Yes.
But again, he's not gonna come and save you and this and that. He's not gonna come
Right.
and talk to you and no. But his teaching is there. It's up to you to do the work, to go out and do your divine work. Do you? We're all coming here on the divine duty. We all have the divine within us. It's within everything that surrounds us. If you don't see it, maybe you're blind to it, but it's everywhere. It's in you, Frank. It's in me. It's in
Yeah.
my dog. It's in everything. That's why it's omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient, because it's everywhere at
Yeah.
the same time,
Right.
experiencing through different channels. Me, you, the neighbor, like through different perspectives. So I think that's how it come to. I don't know. It makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So anyway, so tell me about the future, Frank. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's something that you know, if people are kind of just like going along business as usual and not, hold on a moment, and not considering the future. I mean, it's great. I really like how P helps us to connect the dots, past, present, future, right? Because like P talks about and how the Vedic perspective explains, what we've done in the past has created our present, our current state that we're in now. And then what we do now is what will create what is to come, the future state. So um, when we are thinking about the future, it's something that's we don't know about what it's going to be, right? It's something that hasn't happened yet. So we can't tell what it is. And there's always been an interest in ways of divining the future, fortune telling, and what's going to happen to me or what's going to happen to the world, who's going to get elected or whatever the thing that people want to know is, right? Um, And so this future thing it's part of this this ongoing like eternity, you know. The play is going to continue to unfold, but how's it going to go? We don't know, and that is not predetermined, right? It kind of is depending on a lot of different factors that are playing, that are you know, making choices and decisions, and this movie of life is continuing to kind of like unfold. But things do operate by a certain rules and faculties and things like that. That is like the divine laws that P talks about. That is what is kind of determining how beings' future will go, depending on the actions that they take. So it's cool how P talks about, you know, future is P who turns energy spirals, because that, in a sense, right, that's saying like this divine energy is kind of like whirling what existence is, and not trying to get too out there or anything like that, but we have to take a consideration or just like connect with that higher force, that divine thing that is orchestrating all of this existence right here. We have to, you know, look and start to cultivate that gratitude, and look at our lives and just be grateful for the things that we have been given, and that is like one of the starting steps to start to make things better, because we might be in a situation, a circumstance that is not very pleasant, but we can start cultivating gratitude for what we do have, and then, like P talks about, start implementing the basics, having care and concern for ourselves, gratitude for what we do have, and then those are the first steps to actually be able to walk into a happier, better future, you know.
Do what you can where you are and never be satisfied.
Right. Yeah, because you can keep climbing, you know, keep evolving.
Climbing. What is aging is the aggressive pursuit of comfort. I agree with that. I heard that the other day. Aggressive pursuit of comfort. That's where you will start to freaking age.
Right. Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
am I comfortable here? Okay, that's my comfort zone. You can say I'm very comfortable doing this, but it's still uncomfortable. It's live on YouTube. I can say shit I regret or things I don't want to say, or so I can easily slip in this, but usually I don't. I'm pretty focused on what I do, but
Right.
it could happen. It's still live. It's still comfortable. There can be like 30 something viewers, like especially when I'm with PT. Sometimes it goes to 30, 35, 40 viewers live.
Right.
I get a little I still get a bit nervous. Sometimes it's uncomfortable. It's not something really natural, YouTube, first of all. So
Right.
I have to adapt and shit. So, but no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And just to one last note on this, I mean, like P, right? So P as like a wisdom holder and somebody who's like sharing real knowledge that, if applied with consistency and sincerity, can improve anyone's life. Literally, like he states the facts in a very simple way and a very practical and applicable way. So, like when he's talking about, and so like what P is a reflection of or expressing is, you know, a way of life, a way of being, this Vedic point of view, you know, which, you know, a lot of people have like religions or different spiritual things that they go by. And this is what P is presenting as the Vedic point of view. So he's a reflection of that. And so to consider our own future, we should consider being able to apply things that will be positive for us, right? That's I'm just reflecting again on what P is talking about here, because even if you don't hear it from P, still like you're going to hear something from somewhere that's going to say, okay, you can live life this way or you can live life this way, and it's going to, you know, affect you on many different levels. So if we want good things
I
for our
think
future,
live life this way. I think people do what people see, like monkey see,
right?
monkey do, and that's what they try to follow the masses. We fall in line with the one in front, with the generation in front. It's always to fall in line, like I
Get the
said. So,
influencers, right? The people be this way.
yeah, that's it. So the whole society is kind of going that way, voluntarily or not, because people are following each other a lot.
Right,
So we don't see, like, all the houses are built the same, with the same material, shit material, matchbox stuff. Like,
right.
it's not very solid houses. That's why the wind come and the house is gone.
Right,
There is way to construct houses that when the heavy wind come, the house stays there.
right.
But this is constructed in a way that the wind catches like anyway, I saw construction. They were like around and stuff that aerodynamic. The
Yeah,
square box that you see in the street. It's not very aerodynamic.
right.
So that's it. Anyway, so it's always to follow. When we break that cycle of following each other, that's where we're gonna start probably evolving on a collective view, là, is when we
Yeah.
stop following each other,
Hmm.
falling in line with each other, being ourselves, being your true you, not being like the one in front of you. Have your
So,
own thoughts, not have thoughts like the guy in front of you because you watch the same TV, the same program. Yeah. So, stop the TV, uh, re- regain your thoughts, your capability of thinking,
yeah,
because all this is gonna make you like a zombie. Anyway, but there's nothing to be said to someone who. That's it. You're gonna tell me.
yes. So moving on. Nothing to be said. There is nothing to be said to beings who don't care about the future of their own self and being. The only voice they will get to hear is that of the consequences.
Yeah, il n'y a rien à dire. Il n'y a rien à dire aux êtres qui ne se soucient pas du futur de leurs êtres. La seule voix qu'ils entendront est celle des conséquences. And that's what we were saying before. It's consequence will come to you if you ignore to consider the future. And ignorance has a cost, and you will soon find out. I
Yes.
don't wish it for anyone to find out the cost of ignorance. I don't wish for anyone to suffer.
Right.
But if you don't go out there and get the knowledge and start straighten up your stuff within you, you're going to have consequences of your ignorance, and everyone goes through it. You cannot escape it. You cannot escape the consequences of your action.
Right.
So wake up. That's my
Exactly right.
yeah.
Yeah, this P-log, there's a lot of different things that you can gain from this and apply because, I mean, I think when we first start learning about something that is true to the core and we can actually experience it and it's starting to change us from the inside, we want to share that with people sometimes. Some people do. And but you come to realize after kind of like putting the feelers out there of who's receptive to what is more of a true reality, a lot of times like people will kind of like go back a little bit. And so there's a certain edge of discernment that you start to develop with like, okay, who should I share what with? And it's a kind of a thing you can kind of tell by starting of a conversation, how they respond to it, how open they are to maybe ideas that aren't the status quo of this time, whether it's the shape of the earth or how you're going to feed yourself or like the whole allopathic game and the pandemic kind of things that come along. And I mean, there's so many, right, that we can't even really tell. But after a certain point, you just know like what they're putting on the world stage as far as like politics and government and news and kind of stuff like that. It is like, it's such a circus, really, and like you said, the program, so many people are just subscribing to the reality that is being given by news and media and stuff like that. And, if you want to do that, you're allowed to.
I did.
Yeah, right.
Like 9/11, I was in the basement, I think in Trois-Rivières, somewhere in one of my apartments. And I remember I used to believe it. Like I used to think it was real and shit. And I don't know. It's so they put a veil in front of our eyes. And
it's natural to like want to trust, to like want to be like, oh, okay, you're not like trying to trick me,
Yeah, why would they trick us? Like, why? Like
that's the question that most people, you tell them something, they're like, but why would they want to do that? And
because you are very powerful, and they have to extinguish your power the most possible, everything within you, so you don't rise and shine and do your work in this world. And we change the world, and the system is, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have police and this, and we shouldn't have a system. There's got to be something, okay? But it doesn't have to be intrusive into our life. Doesn't have to be.
There's a whole revamp that needs to happen, and it will happen, but it has to start to implement and take into consideration Earth and the consciousness and the well-being of people, because
but also, Frank, is there is divine laws, there's got to be also laws on Earth, as above so below. So I'm all for laws and stuff, and have order and structure. If not, it would be total chaos. Like, I agree with this, but it's the way we deal with all this, and the mesmerizing of the people's mind with all the just the colors on the police car, the red and blue light, all this red and blue, this see it there too.
Right.
Red and blue is everywhere, but red shift, blue shift. Anyway, that's a whole different topic. But there's nothing really to be said to people who they will hear. Is that the only voice they will hear is that of the consequences, and it's true. It's
right. So you just have to let people go, and it's okay. Like, that's because people are allowed to, go against, or just like stay in a sleep state. That is allowed on this realm, at least. You can do that, but at the same time, if that's a choice you're making, you have to be okay with the consequences that come, which are not going to be pleasant most of the time,
And also, what we said before is the biggest crime of all is to go around pretending you know something here. Because all the chaos starts from there. You pretending you know anything on this realm.
Right.
So chaos starts from there. So if we stop pretending, maybe, and we start learning, maybe we can avoid bad consequences. That's what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's going to come to you no matter what. You cannot escape it. But maybe you can make the consequences a little bit more pleasant. Like, there is consequences to action that can be pleasant too. It's not just unpleasant consequences. So, align with the proper frequency and good stuff will come. I definitely, we're not being put on earth to suffer and to lack stuff, lack confidence, and lack energy, and lack this and lack that, and you have to go get it. No, it's all within you. You should have the divine energy within you. You should not need an energy drink or whatever to give you energy. The energy is already within you. But you got to cultivate that energy, take care of it, feed it proper food, proper drink. If you're on beer and wine and hard stuff, and that's all detrimental, that's neurotoxin to your body. You cannot think clear when you're under the effect of alcohol. You cannot tell me that. It's impossible. It clouds your judgment. First of all, it's going to lead your life. Addiction will lead your life anyway. That's a whole different topic. Anyway, I go on with addiction now. What the heck is this? Anyway,
Right.
but just to say that there is consequences to addiction also, and if you're not willing to like explore something else, well, eventually you will find out. Next
Yeah.
is a state of constant surprise. That's a good one too,
Yeah.
because that's what it is after all this non-consideration.
Uh-huh. Right.
Constant.
To me, something's happening to me now. How can this be happening? That's how people
So
can
I'll
be.
let you go on, Frank.
Yes, a state of constant surprise. There are too many here that think they are some invincible supreme being who will face no consequences for their actions. Funnily, when the consequences arrive, like vomiting and nausea after boozing, they are well surprised. They are surprised each and every time any consequence comes back at them for their actions, which are, of course, done without any real knowing. Sums up the whole muggle world, kindergarten society out there, a constant state of surprise and bewilderment. How did things go so bad suddenly?
Wow. Un état de surprise constant. Il y en a beaucoup ici qui pensent qu'ils sont une sorte d'être suprême invincible, qui ne fera face à aucune conséquence pour ses actions. Bizarrement, quand les conséquences arrivent, comme le vomissement et la nausée après la picole, ils sont très surpris. Ils sont surpris à chaque fois que toute conséquence leur revient pour leurs actions, qui sont bien sûr effectuées sans vraie connaissance. Cela résume l'entièreté de la société école maternelle du monde moldu. Ça, c'était vraiment, vraiment important. Là. L'entièreté de la société école maternelle, kindergarten. That's really what it is, du monde moldu. Ici, un état de surprise constante et de perplexité constante. Comme les choses ont-elles si mal tourné soudainement? Comment les choses ont-elles si mal tourné soudainement? That's the question, people. Why am I getting sick? Why me? Why cancer? Why this? Why? Like a lot of people, when they have that scare, they're like, why me? But often it's because there is stuff you have done to yourself that leads to consequences, to stuff like that. It's not, it shouldn't be, but that's the state we're in, a constant surprise, because it shouldn't happen to me. I'm invincible. But that's, I like when he says here, sums up the whole muggle world kindergarten society out there, because that's really what it is. You're all a bunch of freaking babies. And I can say it today because I'm 51-year-old and I can see behind and I can see ahead. I'm in the middle of all this. And I can see very clear how people are really freaking dumb today, old or young. And it's not because you're old that you know something or that you should be respected, or you should like yeah, respect
Right.
comes, but comes with something that you do. You know, I
Yes.
respect E.T. a lot because of the divine work he does.
Yep.
But if you do nothing, if all you do is in that kindergarten muggle world, I'm sorry, but it's just muggle stuff. It doesn't impress me. What impressed me today is people that do divine work. Like, there's nothing in this muggle world that impressed me. Nothing. I can care less. But now, if you talk about evolution or stuff like that, or people on the path of evolution that want to share with that, I'm all for it, because, like we're saying here, it's a really kindergarten thing. Like, we're all in the baby state and we don't realize it. So
Right.
eventually we will, if by tragedy or something come and shake our existence. But until then, you might not even, something has to happen to you on earth. Something has to happen to you for you to wake up, for you to realize what life is all about and what you're doing here. And because I don't think without any tragedy in your life, and I'm talking severe stuff. I broke a leg. That's what woke me up.
Mhm.
I broke a fucking leg.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm on my ass. I have time to think now. Now they gave me time. Now that's an opportunity now.
Yeah.
But I've seen it like that. But I could have seen it very negatively. But I chose not to because exactly, I wasn't surprised it happened to me,
Right.
if I can say. So anyway, because I was doing all kinds of crazy stuff at work, so it wasn't a surprise. I slipped on a Westcott and phew, you know, a Westcott on cement is very slippy, and whoo, the leg went 45 degrees, dislocated the,
Ow.
the stuff on the patella, they call.
Oh, right.
It was. I was in so much pain for so much time. I couldn't even bend my leg. It was freaking like torture.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's past. It's behind me. I have a recuperate from pretty much from that injury. For sure, I need medicine to control the inflammation. I use CBD and stuff.
Right.
Nothing pharmaceutical, but yeah, because again, why would I put pharmaceutical stuff in my body? It's not good for us. There is many studies done that proves it. It's not just me that,
Right.
and that's it.
Yeah, and
So
there's
Frank,
many natural and herbal solutions that we can seek also. Like
oh yeah,
turmeric, great
yeah.
anti-inflammatory. There's so many different ones, right?
Oh, I do a mix of everything: CBD and turmeric, ginger. I do
Yeah,
a honey with ginger and lemon and stuff. Like
nice.
I try to really go natural for medicine, and it should be natural. It shouldn't be pharmaceutical in a lab. Like
Yeah,
why do we make the medicine in a lab and the food in a lab now when the medicine should come from nature and the food from nature?
it's
But we have
totally
gone completely natural. We make medicine in lab.
right.
Like there's everything in nature. I'm not aware of everything that medicinal plant and that, but I am pretty convinced that it's out there.
Yeah,
So, Frank,
yeah.
the next one will be about. Did you
Oh
share
well, yeah.
something?
I'll just say something short
Yeah,
on a state of constant surprise. I mean, P mentions here when the consequences arrive, they are well surprised, like the vomiting and nausea that comes after boozing. And then you hear about, or you hear people say things like that, and people's logic is all messed up. Like I'll hear even my brother or something like that will say, well, you got to die some way, so you might as well just fill in the blank, whatever it
oh yeah,
is, some kind of nonsensical action or behavior,
uh,
For him, I mean, like, I wouldn't say that anyone in my family is like over the edge of to a certain degree. I mean, but still, like, he's in his 50s and he's still, you know, just partying hard at certain
yeah.
points. He's reached certain levels of success, like in society, but at the same time, like, he still like drinks alcohol and gets like drunk and like, what is that?
And if he
That's
would
not good.
only know that everything he's done is total failure, like, come on, it's good to succeed in society, but you haven't succeeded in the eyes of divine.
Right.
So you have failed the test of divine, you have failed the test of addiction, you have failed. So if he would look at his life from the proper point of view, he would realize he's destroying himself.
Yeah. Exactly.
But do they care? Do they like parties more important? I know people at 65, almost in their 60s, and they party
Yeah.
fucking hard, like alcohol, hard stuff, and drunk to the point that they cannot walk.
Right.
Still, at 60-year-old, you
Yeah.
haven't realized at six. Like I see people smoking cigarette in their old age. I'm like, okay, when you're young, you might want to try, but you
Right.
gotta realize at one point it's no good for you. No, they still smoke, smoke,
Uh-huh.
smoke, smoke,
Exactly.
smoke. Like I don't fucking get it. I don't.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
It
and it's
doesn't
the thing.
even do
It's
nothing to you. That's the worst.
it's
It's
the
not
thing
like
is like
cannabis.
if you're not going to get sick immediately after doing it, they're like, oh, it must be okay. But
That's the thing too.
you know, it's just that there's so many different factors into like what certain people's body is going to tolerate. But just because you don't immediately get sick after it doesn't mean that like it's not going to have like some consequences, you know, for even like your energetic levels, your ability just to have like self-control, you know, just to be able to say, you know, can I stop? Can I actually just be okay? Just like just with eating a proper diet and just living like that. Like, can I do that? You know, and for us to be able to just like test our willpower, even of like, and that's why even at different times of the year, I like to do, you know, a little cleanse or just like a little thing where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have any caffeine for, you know, a couple months or something, and just like, and just test myself and say, okay, can I go without and just see how I feel, you know? Because I mean, it's not a crime to like have a coffee or something like that, but it's about being able to do it in balance and not let yourself get out of control with those type of things, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So
No, it's very important to keep control. I mean,
yeah,
there's so many substances out there that, especially caffeine, it's something that you can, like, you can drink coffee, but with moderation, and your body will heal once you don't eat and don't drink. When you
right,
fast, when you don't eat, that's where your body is happy, because now he gets to heal, he gets to work. When you constantly feed junk to your body, morning,
right.
middle day, midday, and night, and most people, it's just junk. They start with
So
sugar
much.
breakfast and Fruit Loops and all kinds of nonsense. The list is long. We could be here all winter again
Right.
naming all this. The thing is, if you're focused exactly on proper food to eat and stuff, you would not eat so much. You would not eat 3 times a day. I eat once, twice if I'm hungry at night,
Right.
but I haven't ate today yet. I'm not intending to eat before at least 12 o'clock, before noon,
Right.
maybe a little snack, something, but you don't need to eat that much. That's the thing.
Yeah,
People
totally.
think they need to eat all the food in the world and all the bottom feeders of the world and everything that crawls under the ocean, in the ocean,
Right.
out the ocean, and everything that moves, they have to eat it. It's like, hello, you don't have to eat all that stuff. Your body needs very, very little to survive. It can, like that old protein myth that people need protein, people need vitamin, people name stuff they don't even know what they're talking about. First of
Exactly.
all, you don't even know what the protein is. You don't even know what the vitamin is. I don't even know myself. Like,
Right.
so I'm not gonna come here and talk about protein and this and that and like total nonsense, because I haven't studied it. I haven't studied microbiology and shit. So I cannot talk about that stuff, but I can talk about my experience. And I tell you that eating all the time and eating junk food is very detrimental to your body. But some people, they just don't care. So they go
Yeah.
along. And there's that thing in that sense that can be said. And that's it.
Yeah.
Frank
And
will he'll
doing
just, yeah.
I was going to say, doing a dietary reset too, it can change your palate and actually what you desire, you know?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
so when you can give yourself a break from the things that are more taxing on your body and you come back to just like, okay, I'm going to just start new with my diet, then you actually will start desiring the things that are going to be more nourishing and less just like a compulsive, like grab and go kind of, um, you know,
Exactly.
mindset.
You
So,
know, it's good to eat chocolate. It's good to eat chocolate, but it's not good to eat dairy milk chocolate Cadbury.
right.
Like, there's a difference between good chocolate and factory chocolate. Like, again, chocolate comes from nature. It's very good. There's all kinds of flavanols. I don't know what this is exactly, but they talk about it.
Right.
Another word that I have no clue what the heck it is, but
Right.
flavanols or blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I feel good when I eat good chocolate, not bad chocolate, like
Yeah, same.
with all kinds of chemicals. But yeah, no, there is good stuff out there. And Morgan is in the chat. Greetings, Morgan. I saw you before. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. So yeah, so Frank, we're gonna probably end this there because you have to go. And
Sounds good.
we did our hour pretty much. I was talking with you 10 minutes at the
Yeah, yeah.
beginning. So,
Well,
but,
and we'll start next week back on consequences, which is the
yeah,
good
consequences will be our next one, and we still have we're not even at half the book, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking at the pages though. I mean, we've been cruising through it, so it's pretty cool. Right?
I think next June we'll still be doing this. Probably. We'll be doing this all winter.
There's so much to review. I mean, it's a
Oh,
good thing.
good.
It's a good practice, like keeping our
Yeah, it's
attention.
very
on
good.
positive
Good
things.
centering, good remembering, and also it's stuff that you don't want to forget, of course.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I think it would be hard to forget because once your mind has stretched to a certain extent, I don't think it can retract. I don't see myself re-becoming a muggle one day at all. So
No, right?
it's really
Because even if you kind of get tempted to go back, it's so clear how you see the consequences,
yeah,
falling in
I
place.
know
And you're like even if you're kind of like, well, maybe I'll do this thing. Then you're like, you get no satisfaction anymore from those things that were there.
no,
So
exactly. There's nothing exciting, nothing that impressed me so much.
yeah,
As you get older, there's not too many things that impress you anyway. Other than nature. Nature impressed me. Like everything that has to do with nature, that's impressive. Like a
it's
caterpillar or
magic. It's like straight magic. Really, it is.
the other day I'm on the bike path. There's like I don't know how you call them. There's like c'est en français, c'est comment ça s'appelle? Une marmotte. Une marmotte. Marmotte? Marmotte in English?
Right?
Marmotte is the same
Yeah,
thing.
like the
Anyway,
little is it marmot? It's kind of like a little weasel kind of
marmotte.
thing.
That's it.
Yeah.
C'est une marmotte en français, la même affaire. Anyway, she's standing, she or he, I don't know why they haven't said the sex, but he's standing in the middle of the bike path and he doesn't move. I'm coming like full speed, and he
Right?
doesn't move. So I stopped. I stopped and I talked to him,
Oh, nice.
and he was looking at me. And at one
Yeah.
point, he just left. So, take times to do those things. With that impressed me. I was impressed. I'm like, wow, buddy, you up there for me. I'm gonna stop. We're gonna have a little discussion here. So so
you get to really sink into that appreciation and to that gratitude, with the creations around us. It's really cool.
Before I would have probably scared the thing, scared the shit out of it, and just be really, really muggleish. But this time I took time to stop, not to scare it, and she went away after, or he. Whatever.
Yeah.
So large up, Frank. We'll be back next Monday.
Yes.
We'll be here.
Sounds good.
We're up. See ya.